It has the normal features of a normal watch, such as the month and the day. It's got an alarm function. It's got a chime, hourly chime function. It has a chronograph, so you can use it as a stopwatch. It also has an alarm, so you can set the alarm for a specific time during the day to go off. It also has a really unique feature of being able to count your, first of all, it can record your pulse using this infrared sensor. You put your finger on there, it takes your pulse, it gives you a reading of what your pulse is. But in addition to that, it also has a really handy feature, which is the calorie counting feature, which is basically this function right here. And what it'll do is you can start and stop your exercise time. Like if you go for a jog for 5 miles or 2 miles or whatever, then you hit the button, the start-stop button, and it counts how long you do your exercising for. And then at the end of your exercise session, you hit the stop button. And then what you can do is you take your pulse right away, and it will give you a number down here which will show you how many calories you've burned, which is really handy for if you really want to know how you're performing exercise-wise. And it does all this based on some internal data which you put in when you first get the watch. You input your weight, you put in your birth date, and a couple other personal settings. And then what it does, that's how it calculates the number of calories burned by those figures. So it's a really cool watch, really handy. The watch comes with a set of instructions which are very thorough, a very comprehensive instruction manual. The instructions are very easy to read. I was up and running literally within minutes, so it was extremely easy to understand. They're not Chinese translation or anything like that. They're actually English instructions. So the first thing you want to do when you get your watch is read through the instructions. I'm going to take you through the majority of what it covers in this quick video. And so let's start. To set the time, the date, and other personal settings on the watch, the first thing you do is press and hold the set button down for about 2 seconds. And it'll start blinking a year at you. And then to advance the year to the correct year, you press this button here. And it's 2011. We're going to go up to 2011. Okay, then you hit the set button again, and that takes you to the month. Now the month of that is actually May, so I'm going to set it to 5, which is May. Hit the set button again, and this will take you to the day. And since it's the 24th, I'm going to go up to the 24th. Okay, now we got the date set for 2011, May 24th. Okay, now we hit the set button again, and that takes us to the hour. Okay, and right now it's actually 1:30 in the afternoon. So this is AM, and you'll see when it goes to 12, it flips to the PM. You see the P come up. So now it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's actually about 1:20 right now. So got the correct time set. Okay, now the birth year, it starts at 1920. Well, I'm not quite that old yet. And so again, you can hold the STSP button down, or you can step through by pressing it one time. We're going through the World War II era here. 50s, there's the 60s, and I am actually was born in 1972. Okay, so that's my birth year. Press set again. Now we're at the birth month. I was born in June, so I'm going to put it to 06 for June, and I was born on the 3rd. So now we've got 1972, June 3rd. That's my birth date. This stuff is important for when you're doing the calculations on the calories burned and stuff like that. Okay, again, if you're female, you can hit the button to switch between what sex you are, and I'm definitely a male. Okay, weight, you can go all the way from 50 to 600 pounds on the weight. And so, again, I'm just going to hold the STSP button down over here. You can either step through this 1 pound at a time, or you can hold it down and go all the way up to I'm just going to go up to about 185, which is approximately my weight. Okay, hit the set button again, and we're all set. Now everything is set in here for my personal settings, the time and the date. Okay, to check your pulse using this watch, you hit the mode button until the word pulse comes up at the top. And then all you have to do is press and hold the set button for about 2 seconds. And it says touch sensor. So what you do is you touch this sensor right here with your, well, any one of your fingers really. And what will happen is you'll see this. You see the heart beating on the left there? Well, it was beating, it stopped, so I must be dead. That takes just a second. You'll start reading it hopefully here. Retry. If it ever says a retry, all you do is you just retry it, which is no big deal. So you hit the hold the set button down again for 2 seconds, and you touch the sensor. You just touch it lightly, and what will happen is the heart symbol on the left side of the screen will begin blinking. There it goes. It's registering on my pulse right now. And it takes a few seconds. I think it goes for about 10 seconds to take a full reading. And then there it shows my pulse, which is 54 beats a minute. One of the really handy functions of this watch is to, it has the ability to count how many calories you've burned over a period of time, depending on your personal settings that you put in, such as your age and your weight, and also by taking your pulse rate at the end of the exercise period. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do that, how to count how many calories you've burned. And the first thing you do is you hit the mode button until the word exercise comes up at the top. And then basically you use, this is just a timer. What it does is it times how long you exercise for. Okay, and I exercised for 10 seconds the last time I exercised, so I'm going to hit reset, take that back to 0. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the stop button one time, and then I'm going to go for a real brisk walk around the block, and then I'm going to come back and figure out how many calories that I burned. Okay, so here I go. I'm actually going to take off right now. Hit the start button, and what happens is it starts counting, so I'm going to go for a little walk. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back for my little walk, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the stop button here, and as you can see I exercised for almost 8 minutes. It took me that long to get around the block. And what you do at this point is you hit the set button, and it takes you to a blank screen with a heart at the top over here. And then when you get to this screen, you press and hold the set button down for about 2 seconds, and it'll say touch sensor. So you put your finger up on the sensor, okay, and what it did is it took my pulse to see what my heart rate was, and then it gives you a number, and this number is it's 30 calories, and that number is derived by some calculations that it makes based on your age, your weight, a couple other factors, including obviously how long you were exercising for, and also your heart rate. And so I just burned 30 calories, so pretty cool.